So, Jemele, our next guest has to be arguably the best to ever do it. He
the
is
best ever, huh?
a humanitarian on and off the court.
Okay.
He is arguably one of my, if not closest to one of my favorite Lakers. I mean, we got to get this chip, and then he's going to take it right on over.
Oh, you're such a Laker fan.
I am such a Laker fan. LeBron James, ladies and gentlemen. This is our premiere show, and you're here, and we really appreciate you because that means a lot to us. It really does for two little brown girls just trying to make it in the world. So, LeBron, we got to talk to you. You're in your hotel room. Tell us about bubble life. How are you doing?
Live from the bubble. Y'all got me live from the bubble. I don't let many people see me inside my room right now, but you know, y'all two queens, y'all two special women out here, and you know, much respect to y'all. So appreciate it. Appreciate y'all more importantly.
Oh, well, that's really nice and kind of you to say. You yourself have a young queen who is social media's maybe biggest star. Can you just talk to us about, like, you have a great family overall, but the young one in particular seems to be the most lit one. So explain, where did she get this personality from? Was it you? Was it Savannah? A combination of both?
To be honest, it's my middle child. She get it from Bryce. She hangs with him more than anybody in the family. Obviously, she's like a mama's girl. She loves her dad, but she loves Bryce. And if you see Bryce on social media sometimes, he's always doing the TikTok videos and things of that nature. So she's always gaining influence from her youngest older brother. And then she's just like a ball of joy, a ball of life. She is the one of the queens of the house, and you know, she keeps it all going.
Jemele, talk about the TikTok. I tell you, that when you post any TikTok, it goes viral. Everybody's like locked in. So I know you're missing your family. And we would be wrong if we did not ask you. And I know you've talked to other players about this. How has this experience been without being able to have the support of your family and your loved ones around?
No, it's been very challenging because part of the reason why I do the things that I do and why I'm so successful with what I do, both on and off the floor, is the support of my family, being able to see them, you know, for the majority, unless I'm on the road throughout the case of a regular season or the playoffs. You know you're going to return home to your family at some point. You know you're going to see them. And we've been here almost 6 weeks, and to not be without your family, not being without my kids, it's been very challenging. But when you have that support, you know, from them, even from miles and miles and miles away, it makes it a little easier. But this has been very challenging, very tough without the family. But they give me all the support and all the love and all the energy to go out and do my job, and that's to you know, bring a championship to LA.
So we're going to talk in a moment about something really big that you're doing off the court. But first, I want to ask you, look, we don't know what these next year and a half might look like in this country in terms of the pandemic. What do you think about the idea of you all maybe potentially having to play an entire regular season in some kind of bubble? How would you greet that idea?
Well, I just want to commend, first of all, Adam Silver, everybody on the NBA side, and then Michelle Roberts, Chris Paul, and everybody on NBA NBPA side. They've done an unbelievable job of getting this reboot back started, when we're having not only the games being played once again, the fans get an opportunity to see us play again, but more importantly, we haven't had any positive cases of COVID testing. So I commend them on everything that they've done. You know, obviously, this is the first trial, but we're making it happen, and it's happening. And I commend the players on getting their daily testing, on following the protocols and things of that nature. You know, we don't know what tomorrow looks like, but we know that it's a possible chance we could be back in a bubble without our fans, which ultimately we do not want, because we miss our fans. We need our fans. We love our fans. They are the reason why sport in general is so loved and so passionate. But there's some things that can be, you know, better. But at the end of the day, the fact that we're back out there playing and we're giving our fans an opportunity to see what we love to do, and that's play the game of basketball, is a tribute to everybody that was involved.
So it sounds like you're saying if, in fact, it had to be done again, you would be okay with it, because I don't know if you've watched any of our promos, but I call you Commissioner James. And so if LeBron want to play, we playing. If LeBron don't want to play, we ain't playing. Okay? Commissioner James, the question is, if in fact we got to play in the bubble next year, are we playing, Commissioner? I'm kidding to Adam if you're watching, Mr. Silver. But would you do it if we
I
had to?
mean, we definitely would love to keep going. You know, there's some things that we can iron out on both sides, from a game aspect and also from a personal aspect as far as all the players and the ability to see our families are probably a little bit sooner. But the game of basketball is great. You know, obviously without fans, it's very challenging. I can't lie, I can't sit here and lie to you guys, but if there was a bubble scenario, which is working for us, we understand that. Probably just be some things that'd be ironed out a little bit differently, but we know it works, and that's a good thing. When you know something works, you can go from there. When something don't works, it's hard to kind of figure out what's to do next. But we know what we're doing now works, so we can always come back to it.
Yeah, we should have put you and Adam Silver, Michelle Roberts, and Chris Paul in charge of our country's response. But that's
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. We're not
That's a
going to even get into that.
whole nother story.
Last question about the bubble before we move into more than a vote. You know, you mentioned how things are very different without any fans. What does it feel like in terms of the officiating being in this bubble? Do you feel like you're still getting the calls, or is it different because there's no fan influence or crowd influence?
Wait, I want to correct you. He never gets the calls.
Oh, God.
They foul him all the time.
That's right. And he's never committed a foul of his own
He
life.
has not. He has not. Not
Show
to
me
what-
the evidence. You're right.
Show me the evidence, Commissioner.
Excuse me, Mr. James.
Yes.
But no, what's the officiating like in the bubble compared to what it's normally like?
Well, I mean, the difference is the crowd noise, and you know, a smack here on the arm or a foul here may not be heard or might not be seen because of the crowd noise. You might be able to get away with smacking somebody on the arm on a drive, or smacking someone on the arm on a jump shot, or whatever the case may be, and get away from it because the crowd is so loud, either just cheering for you or booing against you. There's none of that. So you can't get away with many tactical fouls, or veteran being a vet and being able to get away with some of the tricks and trades and things of that nature. So the referees are seeing, they are hearing everything. Actually, the fouls right now is up like 10 fouls per game. So we just got to do a better job ourselves as players trying to figure it out.
All right, there you go, being gracious. I appreciate that. You see what the MVP of the bubble has said. Okay, never mind.
Cari.
Meanwhile, here's a more neutral question, LeBron. Here's our show. You know, it's Stick to Sports, and we have this idea that when people tell us to stick to sports, you know, in other words, shut up and dribble, we have to get in your face and tell you we can do it all. We're more than athletes, as you know.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
So here is my thought. You guys sent out this letter today, this coalition of powerful influencers, athletes, entertainers, everybody. And it has been this theme all summer long. I want to do something. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I want to get out there. If I can't protest, I do want to be activated. And you all gave, with more than a vote, very clear call to actions. I would like for you to tell us the mission of More Than a Vote and what you are requiring from the folks at home to do so that we have a fair election process, or as fair as we can possibly see.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the call to action is, we all were rock bottom when we saw the George Floyd video. Once again, another police brutality, another innocent man's life being taken away, man or woman, by a police officer. And it hit home for a lot of us in the urban community. And yes, some of us got out and protested, peacefully protested. Some of us was at home and used, behind the calls, behind the tables, things of that nature. But we had a lot of athletes that said, okay, but when this ends, we want to do more. We want to continue to do more to affect change in our community. And me being someone who I listen to my people in my community, and I listen to my fellow athletes. And when I started to get that notion from them and saying, what we gonna do, LeBron? What can we do? We need you. This is my opportunity. And that's when I got my team together and saying, this is what I want to do. More Than a Vote is not only about trying to get people in our community to actually go out and vote, but it's giving them the knowledge and the power and the mechanism to know that they can create change. And that's all we hear in the Black community all the time. They say, we want change, we want this, we want that. But they don't know how. They don't know, they don't have the resources. They don't know that they actually can. We've been lied to for so many years in the Black community, saying that we can't do this, or we can't do this or do that because we're so bottom of the barrel. That's how we feel. So me being able to put this team together of actors and artists and athletes that have so much passion, but maybe didn't have the platform at that point in time. I'm just using my leadership and just giving them the platform to be able to do something that may be even greater than what they thought they can do. So proud to be a part of this. And this is not just about November. Yes, that's a huge moment in America. We understand that. Change start at the very top when it comes to leadership, but it also is going to continue beyond November, going into December and also 2021.
LeBron, when Barack Obama was in office, I was actually surprised at the number of NBA players I talked to who had never voted before Barack Obama was in office. When did you first vote, and what do you remember about that experience? And I guess, how did it become this very central issue for you?
Yeah, I first voted when I was 21, and I didn't vote, when I was 18, when I first was allowed to. And I had the same, to be honest, I had the same feeling as a lot of the athletes and a lot of people in my community felt. I always felt, and this is because this was the narrative that was taught to us, that our vote didn't count. Our voices would not be heard. They're like, okay, well, you remember, the recount, in Florida, with one of our presidents, and in our community, everybody was saying, well, if that can happen in Florida, shit, they probably gonna do that in Akron, Ohio. Your vote don't count. You just a black kid growing up in the inner city. They don't really care about you. With Barack coming along and having that visual and seeing that something that no one ever thought could happen, seeing a black president, even before he even got into office, just seeing the power and the dignity and the strength and the king he was before he even got elected made me want to be better, made me want to, strengthen my mind, and made me want to get out and actually create change with them. So, definitely was an unbelievable moment, not only for me and obviously for the whole Obama family, but for America and for Black community in general. It was unbelievable. Sometimes to this day, I still don't believe it that we had a Black president. But damn, it was an unbelievable moment, and it's still an unbelievable moment to this day.
I remember you talking about it, and we all remember how we felt. We felt hopeful. We felt that there was equality and this country was living up to its promises. But we circle back to where we are today, and everything is cyclical. 1 in 13 Black Americans can't vote due to disenfranchisement laws. So talk to me about voter suppression and what that looks like to you, and how you, with More Than a Vote, are trying to stop that.
Yeah, the things that I've learned over the course of these last couple of months, that people in our community have been just lied to for so many years. We have people that's had convictions in the past that's been told that they cannot vote because they got a conviction, or we've been told that we have certain people that have money that's owed, and because until they pay the money that they owe back to the community or to the government, that they cannot vote, and that is voter suppression. There's polling, there's buildings, there's places in these communities where they not even allow them to get inside the building to actually vote. So, a lot of people in our community don't have transportation. They don't have the means. They don't have opportunity to actually get to these places because they've actually just been told that they can't, in our communities. And it's just so deteriorating for our minds, for our mental, because we already feel like anytime we try to take one step forward, they push us 2 steps backwards. So, just given that knowledge and given that power, and I have the luxury to be a part of a Laker franchise that has such a great relationship with the LA Dodgers. And now they're allowing us to use their stadium as a polling site. I have the luxury of having a great relationship with Lloyd Pierce, who's the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, and that's going to allow us to use the Atlanta Hawks arena as a polling site, as a location. And we know how strong the Black community is in Atlanta. So having these relationships is very key, because we want to get to the communities. That's what the call of action is all about when it comes to More Than a Vote, is getting to these communities and allowing them to know and letting them know that they matter.
Jay, you know, it's interesting. He said so many people don't know they can vote. I think you may know this story, LeBron. Snoop said this will be his first time voting because he thought because he was convicted of a crime, a felony,
Yep.
he couldn't vote, and it wasn't true. So this year will be his first year voting. And Auntie Snoop is how old?
I know, right? Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
but that's
he
an
Uncle- he
inspiring
Uncle
story.
Snoop. He Uncle
Yeah.
Snoop.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
Uncle
for
Snoop,
sure.
right? But that's an inspiring story for
Yep.
people. And as I often say to people when discussing voting, if your vote didn't matter, why they always trying to take it from you? Speaking of 3 steps back, which you just mentioned a moment ago, so in 2016, you did some campaigning for Hillary Clinton, I believe, in Ohio. Do you plan on doing any kind of campaigning for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
For sure. I think what's known don't need to be said. We are in a time where we are in a time where we need change, and hopefully, you know, obviously, I don't know how the next season will begin for us and when we will restart the 2020-21 season as far as the NBA. But I plan to use my resources. Hopefully, I can get out there and show my face again and be on stage like I was, for Hillary. But we want change. And like I said, in order for change, it's all about leadership, and leadership starts at the top. And I just don't feel right now we have the right leadership for us to be better as Americans. So I will use my resources, I will use my voice, I will use my platform, even using me to hopefully make change into the White House.
I don't know if you remember that time we were in Cleveland and I was driving you and KD around. My driving skills were amazing, were they not? Just taking.
And you was driving in the snow too.
I was driving. See, if people thought I wasn't driving,
You weren't even looking at the road.
I wouldn't even listen. But you see how I was doing it? I was doing one arm. You know how we do it just because I wanted to be cool and then interview y'all at the same time. But I will tell you this, and I've said this to you before, I've said it to anyone who asks, that moment for me will go down in history because I knew how honest and how candid you and Katie were being, but you specifically, you didn't hold back. You said everything you felt, you weren't afraid. And you were very unapologetic about being Black, but making sure that the community heard you and knew that you were there for the community. It is difficult to find your voice. It takes a while for anyone, whether you're in front of the camera or not, or a superstar of your stature or not. It takes a while, so I commend you for doing that and giving people hope and giving people a North Star. Because after that, we were able to see this generation of athletes come out and speak because they felt so comfortable with what you had said. So with all that being said, I would like the exclusive here on Stick to Sports. Are you running for political office once you retire? What? What?
I mean, that ain't funny, dude.
I
That's
don't
a
know why
question.
you laughing. Go ahead. You got my vote. Go ahead.
You know, it's so funny because I get so many of my fellow athletes and fellow friends saying, and like even some of my childhood friends saying, "Hey, Brian, listen, man, I don't know if you thought about it or not, man, but you should run for president someday." I'm like, man, are you crazy? They like, no, you crazy. I'm telling you, man, you should think about it. And a really good friend of mine used to actually work in politics, years and years ago, and he's brought it to me as well. But I don't know, man, it seems like a lot, but the people who's in office right now, let's get aside them to the side. Let's get them off first, and then you come.
You thinking about it? That you thinking about
That was
it?
not a no.
He's not hedging his bets.
Right.
Do you want to announce, like, once we get these 2 chips for the Lakers, these
Oh,
2
2?
chips, because
Okay.
he wants to play with Bronny, right?
That's true.
He
Yes,
want to play
yeah,
with
right.
Bronny, and then he wants to get a chip. And LeBron, why?
She got your whole future mapped out, dude.
Right, she got my whole future. I don't even know what I'm eating for dinner tonight in the bubble, and she told me I'm running for president.
But I will say this, LeBron, if you run for political office, particularly president, I hate to tell you, as much as I like you, you're going to have to really earn my vote because technically I'm mad at you right now.
Why?
Because I don't know if Cari showed you these lovely promos that we've been doing.
What do you mean?
All right, despite the fact that I had put this woman in my wedding, she was one of my bridesmaids, she made it known to all of America that if me and you in a burning building, I'm just dead. If me and you on a flight that's crashing, I'm done.
How did I come? I shouldn't come between you. Where did that come from?
LeBron, let me tell you something.
Oh my God.
LeBron, listen, she gonna ask me who would I pick. I'm like, what kind of question is that? Like, what do you mean? You
Sorry,
and I.
I'm just a really good friend of yours. I mean, I just
No,
assumed.
you're
I didn't know that you was one of her bridesmaids, though. Like, how did I come? No, I shouldn't come. what's going on? How can I come in between that?
LeBron, listen. Laker Nation is listening, and I know you listen. I know you like Jay.
Cross, so y'all can get y'all
This is what
50-11 championship.
We need a 50-11 championship. Let me tell you what I told her. I said if we were all in a plane and the plane was crashing and I had the ability to pick someone up, I'd pick you up and then I show her where her mask was. I'd be like, bro, just get it right there. I'd be like, dog, it's right there.
You ain't right, Cari.
Okay.
You ain't right at
all right.
all.
You know what? Okay, fine. All right. I'll pick you. LeBron said I wasn't right.
No, please.
So let's transition. Some people have disrespected my Lakers and said that, you know, if the Trailblazers get hot, it's a wrap. I'm going to tell you right now, that's the most disrespectful thing that I've heard most recently.
Shots fired at Charles Barkley.
Because, Chuck said that. Chuck, don't disrespect us. I'd like you to tell everyone right now that they can kiss your ass and we're going to win the chip. Go ahead.
Well, listen, we're ready. We're ready. Laker Nation, listen, we're ready. We're looking forward to the opportunity of getting out there and getting to this playoff run. This is why I came to L.A., and I'm extremely focused. By the way, Cari and Jemele is the only one that can get me on a phone call right now, and that's because I love y'all, and y'all two beautiful queens.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been locked in. I got the playoffs on my TV, and I got my other iPad over there with all my clips of Portland. So it's nothing but basketball going on in here. So I'm locked in.
I appreciate you, LeBron. I know you got to get back to focus on the task at hand. The job is a chip, and we got to just let you go. You did us a solid by premiering on our very first show. And as you know, that means a lot to us, but more importantly, it speaks volumes about how you support those that you understand and appreciate. So thank you so much for being here. LeBron James on Stick to Sports with Cari and Jemele. We did it. We're doing it big.
We are. We're doing it super big. It means a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ain't nothing like Black Power, I'll tell you that.
Oh, say that. Hello. It's me snapping my fingers.
Thank you, LeBron. Enjoy your meal, whatever that may be.
I appreciate you guys. Love y'all.